Hello, and welcome to another episode of Just Cuz, the podcast where two cousins talk about things we love.
Just Cuz. And today we are talking yet again about a Doctor Who special.
For the third and final time, or at least until Christmas.
At least until the next one.
I have a feeling we'll want to talk about it again.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm fresh off the television, just watched this episode. I'm a bit brain all over the place. So why don't you introduce the episode?
Well, I should also preface this whole episode. I'm a bit sick, my throat's weird, and I'm also a bit loopy. So explanations for if we just start going wild on
that
it.
Means
but
we'll get funny, goofy Max.
Exactly. But this is the third and I believe final Doctor Who special, and it is titled The Giggle. And let me tell you, Sasha, I loved this episode so much. I liked last week's, but this was a cut above.
It was so fun. From the first second of the episode, I went, okay, Neil, that's a choice.
Yeah.
And I loved every second of it. I was like, no, okay, so Neil Patrick Harris plays the infamous toy maker. A primordial entity from a different universe, I guess. He's from Classic Who from the first Doctor, so I definitely haven't seen him. I haven't watched much of the first Doctor's run except for the first 2 episodes.
Other than a few audio adventures here and there, I've never even gone back to the before times, before the, what was it, 9th Doctor?
Into Classic Who, yeah. I haven't done much. I watched the Paul McGann movie, but I don't remember it.
I remember that movie not being good.
Yeah.
But it's also been a while.
It was not good. But I remember it not being good, but I don't remember it. It's the same. We're in the same place. I watched, like I said, the first 2 episodes, or 2 or 3. Maybe it's the first arc or something of the first Doctor. And I think I watched 1 episode of the 5th Doctor. But I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
Yeah. They're not
Mostly
too standout.
Who. Yeah.
Though. Yeah, they take all the characters. And I've been doing a little bit of research on the toy maker. He's got some comic stories and audio adventure stories, but they don't even reference that because I think they specifically say in this episode, we've only met once before this.
Right.
So all of that stuff in comics is void.
Yeah. Well, no,
but I might mention it later.
The comics, I think they've made it so that they're not canon.
Yeah.
Because that stuff with the Meep was also in the comics, and that's not canon. They've done a lot of batshit crazy stuff in the Doctor Who comics.
It's the idea of bringing back this original series villain. It's oh, that's such an original idea. No, it's been done plenty other times, specifically the toy maker. But I still loved this episode.
I thought it was so fun. It was so goofy and weird and musical theater kid bait.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And it was fun. And I was like, okay. At first I was like, why is Neil Patrick Harris the choice to play the toy maker? Because I didn't know anything about the toy maker. And then I watched it and I was like, okay, he's clearly the choice. I understand.
I think by the time he was in the street dancing with the Doctor, I was like, okay, this is a fantastic choice.
Yeah. Well, that was in the trailer, and I was like, I'm intrigued. Okay.
I like this, whatever it is. And there's the shot through the flame and he's kind of distorted. Amazing.
He was so terrifying. That's the first, not the first introduction we get to him, but that's the first time the Doctor sees him. And I was literally like, okay, that was scary. Straight up, not joking. That one shot with his little, creepy ass wave. I was like, that's Weeping Angel scary. I was put off by that. In a good way, in the best way.
Marionette stuff in this episode that's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the episode starts out Neil. I was about to say deGrasse Tyson.
I knew
Neil
you
Patrick
were gonna...
Harris. Neil Patrick Harris is doing a very weird German accent, and I applaud him for it. Because by the end of the episode, you're like, no, that was a good choice. Crank it to 12.
Because it's clearly not the Toymaker's actual accent. It's clearly a front, a game that he's doing. And it was hilarious.
I mean, they even point that out in the scene. The guy who's buying the doll.
Your accent seems to have slipped.
And the Toymaker just doesn't even acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But the whole Stooky Bill thing, have you heard of that?
No! And, I was so confused. I was like, what the hell is Stooky Bill?
Okay, so John Logie Baird in... I had no idea about this. I researched this all after I'd finished the episode. That's a real story. The first television broadcast was Stooky Bill laughing.
Oh, okay. That's actually terrifying. Yeah, no, I was sitting there watching. I was like, Doctor Who usually doesn't play fast and loose with, like, actual historical... Like, they'll play fast and loose with people, you know? And they'll be like, oh, Queen Victoria was a werewolf. But they won't be like... Queen Victoria wasn't the Queen of England, right? They usually, you know, incorporate historical people and events like into it. So I was like, oh my gosh, did some guy in Soho really invent television? I said that out loud. I was like, I did not know that.
And Doctor Who always does fun history lessons. But I remember seeing that information that the episode was presenting, and I was like, no, the first movie was The Running Horse, right? So then I looked that up, and that was just the first moving picture, which is like in 1878 or something like that. And this was much later. This was broadcast television.
It was a really fun time. I was like, why is this the choice? Why this little puppet? Like, because like it could have been a bear. It could have been something like a stuffed horse, you know, like something not creepy. But he picks the creepiest marionette, and he takes it
with real hair.
Yeah. Ugh, yuck. Okay. Anyway, so the Doctor and Donna pick up right where we left them off, with Wilf, who unfortunately we don't get to see again.
We don't see him, but he's safe. We know he's safe. He is
safe, and he is well in the universe of Doctor Who. Wilf is still kicking, shooting moles and shit.
Yeah, we hear his gunshots, but we don't see him.
Later, that's later. Here, the Doctor and Donna go out into the street, and they quickly realize that things are crazy because everyone in the world thinks that they're right.
And yeah, that would cause quite the chaos.
Scary prospect.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Yeah. And so they quickly get picked up by Unit, who have these handy-dandy little anti-madness bracelets on their forearms or whatever. No, not forearms. Upper arms.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
They look like arm tiaras.
Sure.
Yeah.
Arm tiaras.
I think they're called the Zedex, but I love the Zedex just for the clear metaphor or analogy for vaccines that they were doing there.
Oh, yeah. No, they were very clearly like, oh yeah, give this thing that very easily solves the problem to everyone who thinks they're always right. Nope.
They're trying to track us.
They're trying to track us. They're trying to poison us, blah, 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 blah. It's
trying to control us.
It's all a metaphor.
It's not even on the nose. It's just one-to-one.
Yeah.
This is clear.
It's a simile, a metaphor, what have you. I don't know. Language.
Yeah.
And so the Doctor and Donna meet Melanie, who is a former Doctor's companion at some point. While they're at Unit with Kate Lethbridge-Stewart and scientist number. I don't think she got a name. She had a scientist number, like 57 or something in the first episode. But I don't think she got a name. They just call her scientist. Oh, wait, no, she did get a name. Kate says her name after she goes crazy and insults her.
Yeah, I've seen you stand. That was hilarious.
Kate goes crazy and insults a differently abled woman, and then whose name up until this point we assumed was Scientist 57 or some other number. And then she names her,
I
but I don't
it's
remember.
Shirley Ann Brigham, or Shirley.
What? Shirley Ann Brigham.
Is that someone else?
No, that would mean she was related to Kate.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, she wouldn't.
Is...
No, she wouldn't. Kate is Lethbridge Stewart. Who the hell's Brigham? What is my brain doing?
I was just searching it on IMDb, and yeah, the wheelchair scientist name is Shirley.
Okay, Shirley.
I didn't know that though.
Shirley. They say it one time. Shirley.
I assume
and
she's
Kate...
going to be in this show going forward. If they're setting her
I don't
up.
know. They drop scientists like nobody's business, but they've kept Kate for a while, so that's cool. Well, 'cause she's the head of unit. And then, the doctor figures out that it's the toy maker. Or it's not figures out that it's the toy maker. They figure out that something happened in 1927? 4?
5.
There we go.
Yeah. It's an arbitrary year. It's
1925.
when the television broadcast was invented or whatever.
Correct. And he and Donna get in the TARDIS and they go there. And Donna keeps talking to the doctor about how he never mentions anyone from his past and he never slows down or stops or just like hangs out because he's always on the go, gotta face another crisis. And that's very true.
He's always doing stuff like this.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But he doesn't always talk about his feelings, and that's bad. You got to talk about your feelings, man. How do you feel about that?
You got to at least... There's... I would say this is the good version of how someone lets something go. Because in the first special, they were like, you just have to let it go. Just let it fly off of your shoulders as if it doesn't exist.
Nobody
liked it. But you can talk about something to another person, and that feels like a weight has been lifted from you because you're sharing that responsibility. That's what... at least this version of letting go in this third episode, I loved. Yeah. Just that idea.
I thought it was great. But we're not quite there yet because the doctor does not want to let things go. Or he does not want to talk about his feelings at all. And he's just like, Donna, go back to the TARDIS to be safe. I am going to face the toy maker.
Yep. And I think that's when he like locks eyes with the toy maker and then he understands what's going on. He's like, Donna, get in the TARDIS right now.
That was hot.
And I loved that.
That was great. Yeah. Like, hot in a cool way. Not, like, hot, like, sexy. Hot, like, okay, on the ball. Like fiery.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, they are staring at each other, like, so angry. And the toy maker's just, or no, the doctor's so angry. Yeah. The toy maker's just like, I'm just playing with these balls, man. And I'm like, okay. I'm here for it.
Did you know what the first game ever invented was? And he's just throwing balls at him.
Was that the first game ever invented?
I guess. I didn't look it up.
I don't know if that's true, but I don't think it's not true.
You know,
I feel like the first game ever invented would be like chasing your own tail.
Or I feel like the first game ever invented was like beating your friend on accident with a stick or something.
Like play wrestling. Yeah, because animals do that. Yeah. And they chase their own tails too. That's a game. I don't think that was the first. But according to the
toy maker,
maybe the first game, maybe the first game ever using something that's not yourself or like other people. Like
I guess that would make sense.
Using an object.
Not even like just using a rock and that could be a ball.
Yeah, just like catch. I guess. Yeah, it's like here's the food. Don't drop it. And I guess I don't know.
So that logic lines up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea how the toy maker works, but he reminded me, and hello, my name is Max, and I relate everything to comic book characters. He reminded me of if the Superman villain Mr. Mxyzptlk actually took things seriously. Because I don't know if you've heard of him or seen him, but he's just...
not. You know there's no way I've heard of that person.
You've never heard of Mr. Mxyzptlk? The amazing, famous comic book character?
I didn't know who Calendar Man was until I watched Harley Quinn, okay? Fuck no, I haven't heard of Mr. Plickety fuck, whatever.
He's a fifth-dimensional imp, and he could change reality with a snap of his fingers, but he's always just playing pranks on Superman. But there's one comic where Superman made him angry, and he started killing people. And that's what this reminded me of.
Okay.
Someone who had the power of a god, and he's just not playing games anymore. Even though that is Toymaker's whole shtick.
Yeah.
Is playing games.
I mean, you tell me someone who has, is like all powerful over reality, my mind immediately goes Wanda Maximoff. If Wanda Maximoff, instead of being like, I'm sad about my family, no more mutants, instead of doing that, if she was just like a psychotic game enthusiast, I guess, then boy, would everyone be in trouble. Man, that would be fucking crazy.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Not the kind of crazy that she did in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because I refuse to believe that is canon. I don't like it, and I don't want to talk about it.
We can talk about that another time, but yeah, maybe maybe that was an alternate version of her.
Yeah, let's hope and pray. Thoughts and prayers, girly. Anyway.
But I mean, all of the exposition they were giving in this scene where the Doctor and Donna were just chasing after him in this infinite hallway, and the way that the Doctor was like, physics does not affect him. The only thing that matters is the rules of the game that we're playing right now.
That's interesting. It was very Scooby-Doo. They were running through all the doors, right? Yes. And I was sitting here thinking I kept doing it, and obviously I kept doing it because that's what Doctor Who as a show usually wants you to do. It wants you to be like, how is this happening? Why is this happening?
Right.
What are the reasons? Like almost always it's sci-fi bullshit is why things are happening, but you can see how they logically get there, right? Once the Doctor explains it. But this time the Doctor's like later he's at unit and they're like, how does he work? And he's like, what if I told you he manipulates atoms with his thoughts? And they're like, does he do that? And he was like, no, but he's crazy. And that's what it looks like. Even
with like magic, say in Harry Potter, it works because it's well defined. Whereas
no, it's not. I'm
like
sorry.
It is.
No. Use a different example for a well-defined magic system. Harry Potter, I loved Harry Potter my entire childhood. You can say lots of things about it. There are lots of things about its author, whatever. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the magic system in Harry Potter is not well defined. It is a shit magic system. The world is interesting. The characters are interesting. The politics are interesting. But the magic system is not well defined. Use a Brandon Sanderson magic system. Use the Percy Jackson magic system. Use a different magic system as your base analysis, because that is not a good magic system.
Doctor Strange works because it's well defined, even though that is not well defined either. But in fiction, science fiction always works because they define it, whereas in this episode they made a point of saying this does not make sense however you look at it.
Yeah.
And it still kind of worked for me, and I have no idea why or how, but
it was interesting because it's always fun to see the Doctor out of his depth or out of their depth, and the Doctor is a science guy. He plays by the rules. The rules that he knows everything. He knows the rules of the universe. You ask him, Doctor, where are we? He can tell you. He can lick his finger and stick it up in the air and be like, we're exactly these coordinates, right? But when the Doctor doesn't know what's going on, it's interesting.
Yes, and you can see the panic on David Tennant's face the whole time.
David Tennant always plays that very well as the Doctor. And I had this thought while I was watching his performance. It was that you can very much see, watching lots of things that David Tennant has been in since Doctor Who, and then going back to this character and this performance surrounded by Donna and these things and these people, right? And Russell T Davies' writing. It is very interesting because you can see how much he has grown as an actor from his other works, but you can also see how fundamentally he understands this character and understands where he needed to change and progress in this different interpretation of the of the Doctor as a different Doctor, because it's a different Doctor, but also where he had to be the same. And it was so intriguing to watch his performance.
So I don't even know if it's a concern, but anytime that I see David Tennant in something outside of Doctor Who, even when I saw Good Omens for the first time, I always have the concern of, is he just going to be playing the Doctor? Because if I'm honest, I don't know where the 10th Doctor ends and David Tennant begins.
Really?
It's kind of like Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man. Like, I know he's capable of other roles, but he is so much that character to me, in my eyes, that it's just hard to see him as anybody else.
That's interesting. Did you see Jessica Jones?
Oh, yeah.
That was very not Doctor.
Yeah. That was very different.
He was very not Doctor there.
That was definitely one of the first times I saw David Tennant. I was like, okay, you can be more than...
You should look up his Hamlet.
I haven't seen it. I know of it.
He did a great Hamlet.
I gotta watch that.
I'm a slut for Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. I'll always recommend it. He and Catherine Tate also did Much Ado About Nothing with There's a Recording of it. And they were in it together.
I heard about that.
And it's so good.
Did we talk about that on pod?
I don't remember. I
think we might have.
Who knows?
If not, everybody go watch that. I definitely will.
But yeah, no, it was anyway. It was very interesting watching his performance. I really liked the plot. I really liked when the Doctor and Donna finally reunited after they both faced creepy ass puppets.
Did not believe they actually reunited.
Me neither!
It took me like a minute to actually believe
Same.
it.
I was like, that's not the Doctor. We didn't see his... That's not the Doctor. I was like, Donna, don't trust it. But
there's too many mind games.
And it was.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. This is a different thing. And then the Toymaker
they were leading up to the Toymaker just rallying off all of the companions.
Just fucking being like, hey, remember this bitch? She died. Remember this bitch?
He's like, actually, she's still alive.
And then he's like, oh, well, that's all right then. And I was like, damn. Because honestly,
every time.
Honestly, that was a vibe. Like, him being like, okay, well, she died. Oh, but she died of old age. Oh, well, that's all right then. Oh, well, she died. No, she existed in her last moment. Oh, well, that's all right then. Oh, she died. No, well, her consciousness lives on. Oh, well, that's all right then. I was floored. I was like, damn, Doctor Who, you got a small ass bag of tricks and you're calling it out yourself. Let me tell you this, I'm worried for Ruby Sundays, or whatever her stripper ass name is. Like, because damn, if you're gonna call out what happened to all of the former companions since Donna.
Yeah.
Dang.
There's a clear pattern there.
Yeah.
But just the way the camera got closer every time he said, well, that's all right then.
Yeah, no, that was so fun. That was so good. I loved it so much. But I'll tell you what, though. Maybe I'm not worried, because Russell T Davies, none of his companions died. Rose, Martha, and Donna all lived.
Huh. They all got somewhat happy endings.
They all lived.
Of.
Eventually. Yes. Well, the thing is, okay. Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but I have a lot of thoughts about Rose. Hold on. Former Rose and current Rose. But no, different. Okay. So, the Toymaker comes to 2023, the year 2023, and he, the Doctor challenges him to another game, and then, back in 1925, they do another game. The Toymaker wins, but then the Doctor's like, but I won our last game, so best 2 out of 3. So he's like, okay, well then we'll go to 2023 because it rhymes, and that's where this takes place.
And he does a fun curtain sweep.
Yeah.
I love all of the editing tricks that he has.
All of his entrances and exits, every single time he's on frame, he pops into a frame in this show. It's so good. I loved it.
He's so flamboyantly powerful, and I just cannot get enough of it.
Neil Patrick Harris was just having so much fun. You could tell.
When I mean, we're not quite there, but when he's clearing the room full of people, it just reminded me of the scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah!
Where he's turning people into balloons and stuff.
It was very much, what did
Joy?
Joy, yes, no, but what did they call her when she was evil?
Jobu Tupaki.
Jobu Tupaki, yes, it was very
Yes.
Jobu Tupaki. That's exactly what it was. It was giving that vibe, and that's why I loved it, because that's my favorite movie. And then the doctor challenges the toy maker to yet another game, and the toy maker goes, no. I played my first game with one face, and then I played my second game with another face. So, 2 out of 3, we gotta give you a third face. So he shoots him with a laser. And when I tell you, I was not expecting that. Obviously, we were all expecting him to die. Yeah. But we were not I wasn't expecting it to happen with 20 minutes left of the episode.
Can I be honest with how excited I was when David Tennant got shot in the chest with a laser? I was like, oh, we're doing this.
I jumped up. I was so excited. I was so pumped. I was not happy to see David Tennant go, of course, because I was like, no, I thought we were going to have the whole special with him. And then...
But...
and then something really weird happens, and I'm qualifying weird. I'm qualifying this as weird, given that we're watching a show about a two-hearted alien who constantly changes his face.
Yeah.
This was still weird. Oh yeah, starring a toy maker who can do fucking anything.
Yeah. Who can change reality with a snap of his fingers.
Yeah. Basically, what David Tennant said, basically he can change atoms with his thoughts. But he's like, also bound by the rules of the game. No, that's not how he does it. Okay, so David Tennant starts to regenerate. The regeneration energy comes...
Before we get to the regeneration, I do have to mention one thing, and that is the toy maker talks about how he played a game with the master and he trapped him in his tooth.
Yeah.
And that tooth is taken by someone in the end of the episode, but that's not as important as... Who is the one who waits? The person who he wouldn't play a game with.
I was gonna wait for that anyway, but it's fine. Okay. No, they were dropping
we can talk about that after hints. Because I feel like that's a villain for the future.
Yeah, it was very Bad Wolf vibes. They were dropping hints for future baddies, season arcs and whatnot, and I'm very excited for that. But
yes, Sasha. Regeneration.
Yeah, so David Tennant starts to regenerate, and then Donna and Melanie, both redheaded, which is made very apparent in the episode. The toy maker even points it out. He's like, he loves a redhead, doesn't he? And I was like, honestly? Like, what? Bro, like... I mean,
what does he call them as they walk up? Does he say handmaidens or something like that? Yes, he
calls them handmaidens, which I was like, okay, chill, bro.
All right, buddy.
No, but honestly, like, okay, think about how many companions the Doctor has had. He also said, like, I'm 1 billion years old. If I talked about everyone, we'd be here forever. And I'm like, that's very true. Like, he's had many, many companions. Some of them have been blonde. Some of them have had red hair. Some of them have had brown hair. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But he had Donna, and then right after he had Amy for a really long time, which was funny. Anyway. Amy gets a shout out in this episode, which I did not think. We have not heard her name since Deep Breath. Okay. When Peter Capaldi goes, I fucking love that moment when Peter Capaldi and Clara are trapped, and then he drops his sonic screwdriver and he's like, reach it with your foot, and she's like, I can't reach it, and then he's like, it's times like these I miss Amy. Because Amy was really tall. And that was the last time we heard Amy's name. Yeah. She didn't even get a mention in the episode where her daughter was.
Nope.
Anyway. Yeah, the Doctor starts to regenerate. And then he stops. And not in the, I'm gonna make a meta crisis hand kind of way that he's done before. In the, And then he just stops regenerating, and he goes, huh, that's weird. And then he looks at Donna and Melanie, and he's like, can you pull? And they start pulling his arms, and they pull Chutigatua out of him, out of his body.
And he's still there. And there's two of them.
And they're like half in each other, like a Greek creature, like an ancient Greek monster, right? And there's like 2 heads, 2 torsos, but 2 legs. And I was like, ah!
And I never noticed this until like a minute later when there was just a shot of the 2 of them standing. Mm-hmm. But the only reason why the new Doctor has a shirt or underwear is because he took David Tennant's.
No, very clearly, because he's also wearing socks and shoes and a tie, and David Tennant is not. So they're like, yeah. So instead of Chutigatua coming out butt naked, he takes half of David Tennant's clothes.
Because I kind of sat at the screen staring like, why did they give him a shirt and underwear and no pants? Then I was like, oh, because they split their clothes.
Yeah, I was like, because David Tennant's freeballing it under them pants there.
He's going commando.
Not intentionally. Not intentionally. Who would have thought? Okay, so this is the weirdest regeneration we've ever seen on Doctor Who.
Has this ever been done before?
Of course not. Of course not. It's not been done before.
I mean, I don't even necessarily care if there's precedent or not.
No, precedent
because this was awesome.
Precedent doesn't mean shit. Jodie regenerated into a face that they've had before. Like,
yeah,
that, like,
this whole thing is
ain't
new.
Shit, right? But they come halfway out of each other. Sorry, not each other. Chuti comes halfway out of David Tennant, and then they have to push on each other's hands to get the rest of the way out. And then Shirley, the scientist, goes, what? Like, we're all thinking, what? And then Chutigatua goes, by generation. And I'm still like, what? And
okay.
And that's where it ended, really. They didn't explain much more than that. That they bi-generationally not merged, the opposite of merged, I don't know, mitosis.
So is there...
They mitosis.
Is there officially 2 Doctors? Like, can David Tennant Doctor regenerate again? Is he just...
Let me tell you something. Okay, let me say this. There's something about David Tennant's Doctor, okay? No one wants to let him go, because this is not the first time that the main series Doctor has moved on and left a remnant David Tennant in the past, okay?
Yep.
Because this is what happened with Rose. And this is the reason that there was a Dr. Donna to begin with. Yep. They made a clone human version of David Tennant, and then he fucked off to another universe and lived with Rose forever, which was, so cute, so adorable. I loved it.
Yeah, he got his happy ending.
I love it. Very happy for them. But... And in a deleted scene, they give him like a TARDIS plant or seed or whatever, but it's not real because it was a deleted scene, so it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
But now it's happened again. Instead of trying to top, because they knew that they never could. They knew that they could never top the first time David Tennant died and regenerated. They knew they could never top I Don't Want to Go, so they didn't even try. And I respect that. Okay? They knew their limits. They were like, we are never going to do better than this. This was iconic. It's never going away. I remember
crying at that scene.
We all did.
And honestly, I thought that's what this whole 3-arc special, or 3-episode arc special was about, was David Tennant learning to let go. Because, his dying line was, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And that's always been in the back of my mind.
Of course. And I think that's definitely a part of it, because his embodiment of the Doctor was very different from anything seen before.
He was vain. Not that doctors before weren't, but he was an extra level of vain.
Yes, but I don't think he was vain about, like, things that, like, normal vanity, like his looks or something. He was vain.
I don't know. I feel like he was pretty vain about his looks.
I think he was vain about being young. Not vain. I think he was living in the I am eternal. I am super old. I've done a lot of crazy shit and had a long life and had lots of trauma, but that 9 was the embodiment of the trauma, and I'm gonna spend my life running away from that. And that is what they even say that in the 50th anniversary with the moment. The moment says something like that about him. They call him the man who forgets. That's what it is. Because they call they call him the man who forgets, and then they call Matt Smith the man who regrets. Which I think is very
perfect,
accurate. And he was very much holding on to that moment in time. And, you know, we can say what we want about Chris Chibnall and that run of Doctor Who, and I really, really, really wish that Jodie had better material to work with. But after the Flux event, that was a very big deal, and a lot of stuff happened. I'm not going to go into detail because I genuinely blocked it out. I genuinely don't remember exactly what happened. But I can recite...
Honestly, neither do I.
I can recite any other episode of Doctor Who full cloth from my memory with very little time. But this one, I'm like, I don't recall.
Out of the two of us, you are the Doctor Who fan. If you don't know it, I definitely don't.
Yeah, I was like, I genuinely... it was the Flux. Some stuff happened, and then some stuff flicked away like Thanos did. You know, it was weird. Anyway.
Flicked away like tears in the rain.
Sure. Yeah, but after the traumatic events of the Flux and Jodie dying... And learning, especially all that stuff about their past.
And is this the timeless child stuff?
The timeless child stuff,
separate?
Yes. Even if we all hate it, right? It happened. So we have to make our peace with that. And interrogate the characters' methodology and how their mind is going forward, because you learn all about, you say, I've lived 1 billion years, right? And then I find out that I've lived even longer than that, and I've had so much time and memory taken away from me, and I've been used as a guinea pig to fuel a planet, a society that then subjugated and outcasted me. And that's wild, first of all. That's a wild thing to happen to anyone.
That's quite the shift in the status quo.
Sure, yeah. And so the Doctor's, like, genuine mental state after that, I completely understand the need to regress to something familiar and kind and something that feels like home, which to the Doctor is now saying that is Donna for him, which is great. I love that. Donna is his sister. They are best friends. They are companions for eternity. I adore that. That is perfection for me.
And also that makes me wish that they kept Donna as this doctor intelligent level being, because that would fit the whole sister and brother dynamic so well. But we, like you said, we all believe that should be.
She doesn't need to have his consciousness within her to, I think that's what, okay, I'm gonna get real into the weeds here.
Let's get into it.
Event is what alienated him from Donna in the first place. So the Dr. Donna, if Donna had stayed the Dr. Donna, it could have become resentful. It could have become, I don't like the Dr. Donna. I miss Donna, my best friend, Donna, who I traveled with for so long, Donna,
that is true,
who was the most important woman in the world, not because she was the smartest or because she knew the most things because the doctor lived forever, but because she was such a genuine person. It could have, you know, we have no idea where it could have gone. And as much as I am curious to see what could have happened, we needed this original version of Donna back with her memories, without the super intelligence granted by the Dr. Donna meta-crisis.
Right. Because that ending was perfect, where the doctor learned to just sit back, put his feet up, and just live life.
Yes.
Because that's what he needed.
Basically, the two doctors, because this is a 60th anniversary special after all, so we have to have more than one doctor. The two doctors defeat the Toymaker, and then Chutigatua
with
goes...
a game of catch.
Yes. This is where it trips me up, okay? Chutigatua doctor goes. What he's the 15th doctor. The 15th doctor goes, David Tennant's doctor goes, but you're okay. I don't need to slow down. I don't need to start talking about my feelings. And then Chutigatua says, I'm okay because you fixed yourself. We are Time Lords. We are going through, emotional rehab out of order. He said that.
Right.
So, this leads me to believe that he is not... Okay, because at first I was like, oh, okay, they broke apart and grew out like starfish, right? They're just like... That's
what made sense to me.
They're the same doctor from the same moment in time. They both have the past memories. But no, this leads me to believe that Chutigatua's doctor is the doctor that will happen when David Tennant's doctor dies. Right?
So...
And because David Tennant has put in all this work and hung out with Donna and not traveled and talked about his feelings, you know, and just been like, I'm going to stay in one place for a little bit and hang out with the fam, and I'm going to have a family for once. You know, because of all those choices that David Tennant made, that Chutigatua is emotionally intelligent. That's what I was led to believe.
The way that he popped out, just exuding this emotional warmth, loved it.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting my whiteboard out and I'm writing out all the timelines, like Back to the Future. Because I'm like, okay, if that's the case, if they are truly the same person and they didn't split, then that would mean that Chuti would have to go back. I have no idea.
I have no clue. This doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either.
I love it.
But I still love it.
I love it. I love their interactions. I love Chuti's take on the Doctor so far. Very different from anything we've ever had before.
Yes.
But I'm confused, damn it.
I'm so confused. Freaking... Well, David Tennant and Chutigatua were just talking to each other, just having fun, and I immediately was reminded how fun it is to see two or just multiple doctors on screen at the same time. Yeah. Like, it's so much fun.
Okay, I think that David Tennant, ever since David Tennant was introduced as the Doctor, I think he has been present for every multi-Doctor story except the Peter Capaldi First Doctor one. I think David Tennant has been present for every single other multi-Doctor story, because they also
and you want to know why?
Because he's amazing.
Yeah, because everyone loves him.
They also did that little mini episode that Russell T Davies used to do a lot. But
yes.
Stephen Moffat did them too. But actually, Stephen Moffat probably did more. Anyway, they had a little mini-sode of him meeting the Fifth Doctor, who is his father-in-law in real life.
Yes.
Wild stuff, guys.
It's all crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm reeling. I loved it. It was so fun. I will be watching it again.
Yep. I all of the fun editing stuff with the Toymaker, love so much. All of I can't even say his name. Kuti the new doctor.
Ncuti Gatwa?
Ncuti Gatwa. Yes. I was about to say...
I think I'm saying it right. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
we're
how
just
I've
going
heard
for it.
him say it. So.
But yeah, he is a phenomenal doctor. Perfect choice. Cannot wait to see him in the new season. And as I've dropped off of Doctor Who, I'm back on board.
Watch the Capaldi seasons, Max.
I will.
Watch them. They're so good. They get better. It's like, okay, you know how all of the doctors had gotten like 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
And they had different companions and stuff. But I can't even speak. Peter Capaldi's 3 seasons on Doctor Who is the only one that I can like fully say was intended as a 3-season arc for the character of the Doctor. Which is so good.
I'm sold.
It's so good.
A little bit of a spoiler, but I have something to recommend later. That's a Peter Capaldi adventure. And honestly, that kind of convinced me to go watch his show. But now I definitely will.
Yes. I want to talk about it. I am the Doctor, and this is my spoon.
I've seen that episode.
Yeah, that's great.
But should we move on to the consumption corner? Because I don't know about you, but I'm starved for content.
I think we should. I'm pretty starving myself. I love that this has become how we're introducing the consumption corner when we know full well that that's not what consumption means in the way that we're using it.
Yeah, because consumption can also be a disease.
Yeah.
So
I'm
maybe
dying
we're both
from
in the corner. Yeah, just shriveled up.
Yeah. I mean, it can mean eating or consuming, but...
I just liked the alliteration. That's why I used it
I think
at
it's
first.
hilarious.
But now it's just caught on.
I'm not against it. I love it. I'm just pointing it out.
But yeah, like I said earlier, I did a whole bunch of research into the toy maker because I wanted to know at least a little bit about his character. And I read a Peter Capaldi comic where it was called Relative Dimensions. And I will just say it starts off with Peter Capaldi going into a new setting and all of the Doctor's companions are there, like every single one from his past.
What?
And then it's slowly revealed that none of the companions are real, and this is a game that the toy maker is making.
Whoa. Is it an audio adventure or is it a comic?
It's a comic.
Oh, that's...
Highly recommend. It's a lot of fun.
That's awful. What did he have to do? Did he have to, like, choose between them or something? That would be crazy.
No Sophie's Choice level choices,
okay.
But...
now that we know what it is.
But Sasha, what have you been consuming?
I have been consuming, today was, I probably not the day that this is going to be put out, but on the day that this was made, was released the final episode of Burroughs End, the Dimension 20 show, the last one for this year. It was very good, very exciting. So I was watching that today. I've still been reading the book that I mentioned last time, Fourth Wing.
Has it gotten any better?
No. Oh. I hate it.
That's not good to hear.
I really want to stop reading it, but this is my conundrum. I love being in a book club.
At least talking to other people about books. It gives you something.
But my whole thing, the only thing I have to say when I talk to the other people in my book club is I hate it. So
every time begging for a new book.
I think I'm going to have to stop because it's just ruining my sanity. I don't like the writing style. It's non-negotiable for me. My friends in the club with me, they're like, oh yeah, I don't really like the writing style either, but I kind of just like distance myself from it while I'm reading and just focus on the story. And I'm like, for me, I can't not.
How do you physically do that?
Yeah, I don't know how that's possible. It doesn't work for me. I can't be like, oh, this is an interesting story, I wonder what happens next. I'm like, no, tell it to me in an interesting way or I will not read you anymore.
Because, I mean, it sounds like it could be a kind of Game of Thrones with a bunch of dragons and sex.
It's like it's supposed to be kind of like Game of Thrones meets Hunger Games kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that sounds fun.
I can get behind that.
That sounds like exactly my thing. I love that shit. I like both of those things. But no, I don't like this.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can move on to I was about to say half recommendation, but I don't even know if it's that.
No, just tell us what you've been consuming.
Because I watched the animated Amazon special Merry Little Batman, and the more time that has gone by, the less I've liked it, because it was kind of fun at first. It's very much for kids. It's a story where Batman saves Christmas. Aww. And but I mean, it's also more of a Damian Wayne story.
Wait, hold on, wait. Let me ramble for 1 second. Wait, Batman saving the capitalist hellscape that is American Christmas? How did he do that?
Money. No. But I will say a lot of the villains seemed like the animators or the people behind it made a very clear choice to make all of the villains Joel Schumacher, or even like the Penguin's a little bit Tim Burton. Like, it's not comic inspired at all. And even Damian Wayne's story, Bruce has him as a baby, and it's a very clear choice, which is separating, because Damian Wayne was raised by ninjas. Right. But other than that, if you got a small kid, maybe show it to them. They'll probably like it. Or show them something good. Something that you do recommend. Like Batman the Animated Series is probably better.
No, if you have a kid, clearly the choice is to show them the Lego Batman movie. That's clearly the choice.
Yeah. The best... we have the Batman. I was about to say the best blockbuster version of the Batman, but... I like the Robert
Batman.
Pattinson is toe-to-toe with that.
Okay, you know what? I like the Batman. I do. I think it's a great film. But you ask me which would I rather watch on any given day, the 3-hour dark look into how Batman's identity conflicts with being Bruce Wayne and shit like that, or the fun romp that is the Lego Batman. I'm going to pick the Lego Batman 100% of the time.
There's also Mask of the Phantasm, which is technically a theatrical movie. So
it's not a blockbuster, you can choose between that.
Kinda. No, it's not. But I mean, other than that, I have just one more recommendation. But before we get to that, is there anything you got left?
I do have something, but I forgot the name. So you talk about yours while I look up the name.
So I have been watching a little bit of Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which is an Apple Plus show. I don't know if it is Apple Plus. It was an Apple TV show. And at first, I wasn't sure what to think of it. There's some really clunky exposition in the first couple episodes that I did not love. But the one thing I love immeasurably about this show is there's some really good CGI and there's some really cool shots. But most of all, Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell play... I don't know if you know Wyatt Russell, but that's Kurt Russell's son, and he's also John Walker in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But Wyatt Russell plays a younger version of Kurt Russell, so they play the exact same character in 2 different time periods.
Oh, that's fun.
And every time that they have the opportunity to mess with how much their faces look similar, they do. And it is perfect. The same way that the It cast for Chapter 2 looked eerily like their counterparts. This is the same thing.
Oh, sick. That sounds
I kind of mainly started this series because I wanted to watch Godzilla -1, which is the new Japanese Godzilla movie. Haven't seen it yet because I'm stuck at home, but I definitely will watch it as soon as I can. I've heard that is a banger.
I have heard that movie did come out.
The hype is unending for me when it comes to Godzilla -1.
The last things that I will shout out is I think I'm just gonna make it a norm of mine to shout out the video essays that I watched this week, because Your girl loves a video essay, okay? I'm a scholar at heart, honestly. I can't even say it with a straight face. Okay. All right. So first I'm going to shout out PhilosophyTube's new video, A Man Plagiarized My Work, which was excellent. I love PhilosophyTube and all of their videos. They're really great resource for just, learning.
I gotta write that down. I don't think I've heard of them.
Oh, she has a great channel. And then next is Alexander Avila's video. Some might know him as the channel used to be called Are They Gay, which I used to watch extensively, as I believe we are like the same age as him. And his new video is called This Video Isn't Just About Taylor Swift, It's About You. And when I tell you this video, oh my gosh, it is so good. It talks about like capitalism and racism and how it is all embedded into the capitalist industries that we uphold, and how even if someone is not trying to, they are upholding the system if they are meaning to succeed in it. And it's so interesting. I freaking loved it.
I gotta watch that. I have to admit, I have zero interest in Taylor Swift, but what you just described, I definitely gotta watch it.
We're scholars at heart. This really is just one scholar talking to another.
I'm shaking my hand like an Italian. We're scholars.
Yes, of course. That's famously what scholars do.
We're scholars.
Wasn't Da Vinci a scholar?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, sure. Why not? But I can't think of too much else to say. But with that, this has been a wonderful, wonderful podcast.